Let me now introduce the management team, which we are here. Can I have the presentation? Sorry. I already introduced myself. I will start from a supervisory board. It's Dariusz Mazurkiewicch. He's the chairman of the supervisory board of BLIK Romania, but he's also the chairman of the Polish payment standard company, which is the head of, which is the administrator of the BLIK system in Poland. Then we have Monika, Król, which is vice chairman of the supervisory board of BLIK Romania, but also vice chairman of the Polish payment standard company in Poland. And we have also, from the supervisory board perspective, George Marian Cristescu. He is our independent supervisory board member. There's no connection with the company itself, but he's the head of trade chamber, Romanian Polish trade chamber. Welcome.
Thank you.
Then from the management board perspective, the CEO, myself. Michał Szmański, the vice president responsible for operations. And Paweł Dytry, responsible for compliance, all the legal issue, the management board functioning, office, and all the legislation. We are here for you, and if any question comes to you after this presentation, after the meeting, please feel free to contact us and to ask whatever may come. Now I will hand over to Dariusz. He will introduce BLIK generally from his part. He's one of the founders, I would say, of BLIK from the very, very beginning, and he knows everything.
Ryszard, thank you very much. It's really great pleasure, of course, for us to be here with you. And to be honest, we are really happy to see such a great number of representation from your market. For information, it would be really hard in our Polish market to gather such a nice group of people that would be interested in hearing the strategy. It's really electronic times right now. Twitter lives, Facebook lives, and the others, but it's always a great value to see each other face to face, and this is why we would like you to play an active role in this conference today. Don't hesitate to ask questions, especially after the whole presentation. We will have a lot of time together to provide you with more details, if you have more questions. Please treat this conference as an interactive exchange of information. We have a few slides to share with you. My role here, given me by the CEO, by Ryszard, was much more to present our solution and our platform in details. So we have a lot of numbers. We have details of functioning of the payment solution that we are providing in Poland today. We also would like to disclose some reasons why we see a great potential of BLIK solution in payments, especially in e-commerce payments in Romania. And all of this information are supposed to be shared with you right now within these slides. We will share the information with Monika and Ryszard. We are very much open for any questions that you might ask to us. In the meantime, Mr. Professor, thank you for joining us for this conference. Really happy to see you. So first of all, very basic knowledge that we would like to provide to you in this slide is that BLIK, unlike any other solution that is, let's say, marketed in Europe, is not providing a wallet, is not providing to the market a mobile application. Actually, BLIK is not providing its own user interface to customers. BLIK is not gathering database of customers on its own, is not interacting into the relationship between a bank and a customer. How do we do it? BLIK, since the very beginning, is dealing what is very popular right now in the fintech industry, what we call embedded finance. We've been doing embedded finance for many years, since the very beginning, because BLIK is embedded in mobile banking applications. So this is the principal information that we would like you to remember, that BLIK and success of BLIK is coming from being operational and being fully embedded in mobile banking applications. So this is, let's say, characteristic number one. What's also very important is that the user experience of BLIK within the mobile banking application is very universal. It's operational in different, let's say, market shares, in different market segments. It's operational in e-commerce, of course, but of course in instant transfers. It's operational in in-store ATMs with deposit withdrawals, cash withdrawals. So this is, I would say, what we call a very universal solution that is provided to the market. We also think that it's extremely important to emphasize independence of BLIK. The independence means that the decision power of the development of the solution, of marketing the solution, is in the hands of local company. And right now, this is one of the reasons why we are here. We are announcing, and Ryszard is announcing, the creation of local BLIK Romania, a company that will be managing the platform independently on the Romanian market. And of course, what's also important to mention, that the success of BLIK is coming of its popularity. And I will share with you more or less the coverage of BLIK in different market segments. So of course, the biggest pride of BLIK is that all, I would say, online players or e-commerce shops or e-commerce distributors provide BLIK as a payment solution in Poland today. Later on, we will show you that global brands are already ready to offer BLIK in their ecosystems right now. So 100% of online payments are available with BLIK in our country, of course, today. Almost all ATMs and the BLIK coverage of 80% in POS terminals. By the way, there is also a contactless solution that is available globally. So this is also a detail that we could explain later on. And of course, if you have any questions, we can deep dive in this segment. We truly believe that there is a huge value that could be added to the, let's say, to the ecosystem of mobile banking, but also of payment services providers operating and offering BLIK to their merchants. As a system, this is important to mention, as a system, BLIK is playing a role somewhere between the banks, who we call issuers, and on the other side, payment services providers. There are really significant operations on the Romanian market of payment services providers providing payments, online payments to different online platforms. And these are our principal partners with whom we are launching our cooperation. And our ambition, of course, is to be an open solution, open for any bank and any payment services provider operating on its own market. A very strong point of BLIK is maintaining the relationship and not letting to disrupt the relationship between a bank and its customer. BLIK payment use cases bring customers to the mobile banking application on a daily basis. We will show you with numbers later on how popular BLIK and how much BLIK is leveraging mobile banking applications in significant way. We truly believe that mobile banking application industry in general is the only industry that is able to stop the disruption from any other third-party players like big techs, like any other companies who are really coming up with new type of strategies going into these payment relationships with the customers. And we also believe, and you will have the opportunity to see it in slides and later on with us, because we are very much happy to show you how it works from customer perspective. We truly believe that the user experience of BLIK is spectacular. It's within seconds that the payment is executed by customers, so the usage and the popularity is coming exactly from the user experience that is offered by BLIK to the customers. Conversion rates, and this, let's say, key parameter that is really, really significant and essential for payment services providers and for merchants is one of the strongest points of BLIK as well. We think that there is no reason why the online payment should be complicated. It should be so easy that any generation from Gen Z until seniors, advanced seniors, anyone have an easy access to payments, and BLIK is offering this usage and this facility of payment. Step by step, we are going into some numbers just to give you a bit of perspective of scale in which we are operating. As Ryszard said, we have been just celebrating our 8th anniversary a few weeks ago. So this is why we shared with you our birthday movie at the very beginning. We are still proud that the 8th anniversary is coming more or less at the same time with the announcement of our expansion to Romania. But for your information and giving you the perspective, it's still growing very much, but it's important to mention that according to official Polish Banking Association data, still not yet by the end of 2022, because the numbers are really growing very fast from one quarter to another, we can announce that there is 22 million of Polish people today dealing with electronic banking, online banking, which is for us quite a traditional way of, let's say, daily banking. Out of this 22 million, we have, by the end of the third quarter of 2022, we noticed there is 19 million of customers using mobile banking on daily basis. You see some brands, some examples of banks offering, let's say, mobile banking applications. And out of these 19 million of users by the end of the third quarter of 2022, there is 13 million of active BLIK customers. What we say 13 million active BLIK customers, we say customers executing transaction only within 1 month. So this is the criterion about for our to calculate the activity of a customer. So by the end of 2022, there was, and it's still very much growing, 13 million mobile-only customers paying on monthly basis and using BLIK on monthly basis on the mobile banking application. We just wanted to share with you some brands. It's important just to show that BLIK has not limited until today its growth purely to the Polish market, but we have been undertaking a lot of activities until today in order to come up to global platforms to facilitate our growth and acceptance network for mobile banking applications globally. Some of the brands are active in Romania, some of the brands are probably not active, getting ready with the strategy for Romania. And we truly believe that expanding e-commerce activities, which is the fastest growing, let's say, new technology segment in Europe, is ready to offer BLIK from day one with existing relationship with the payment services providers. We'll be coming step by step to some presentation with transaction flow, and later on with detailed numbers. I hope it works. And it works. Okay. So it should be a very basic, a simple explanation how BLIK works in a tough environment of mobile interface, because we are not using a desktop here. So this is a demonstrated bank from which the 6-digit BLIK code is taken. It's we would say it's introduced into any interface of any merchant. It might be a desktop, it might be any device, and there is pure, strong, what we call strong customer authentication from PSD2 regulations, compliance. The transaction is completed, the transaction is always confirmed within the mobile banking application by the customer, and later on it's settled instantly, might be settled instantly, but the rates of settlements are, of course, let's say, compliant with local regulations or traceability. In our Polish case, we are using the rates of our national clearinghouse, and of course, in the Romanian activity, we also have a solution that will be proposed for the market very, very soon. So this is important for you to know. We always say that it's really hard to explain how it works because it's much faster to make the transaction than to explain how to make the transaction. But of course, it's important to tell you that the facility is one of the key points of one of the advantages of BLIK that is making the platform popular. Why are we saying that the BLIK platform is popular? So in global number for 2022, we just wanted to share with you some fresh data. We thought it would be interesting for you. We still, after this 8 years of growth, we still observe high dynamics in global BLIK. I mean, the penetration of the market is very, very high. We'll show you the numbers of the market translated in our country later on. But just to tell you that with the high market share penetration, we are still growing between 2022 and 2021 with 62% from one year to another. There is more or less on daily basis it's even higher this year, more or less 3.5 million transactions on daily basis executed by customers of BLIK, but mobile banking users. The total transaction value that had been processed by our solution in 2022 was nearly 35 billion euro. The average value for information of transaction at the end of 2022 was almost 30 euro. This is an average transaction executed by customers. What is even more interesting is that BLIK platform is gathering the number of applications, mobile banking applications, and its user registered in our solution with a number of almost 26 million apps. So you see that this is even higher than the official Polish Banking Association data by the first quarter of last year. And this 30 million, exactly 12.9 million active users on a monthly basis. So this is the current scale, which we had the opportunity to announce probably 2 weeks ago in our Polish market. And with the first data, we are coming to you and we are announcing to you. Right now, we would like to go into more details with numbers. And then very, very quick, we will go with Ryszard to the Romanian market. Monika, first to you.
Thank you. So we don't want to bore you with numbers, but just a quick look how the last 8 years of BLIK's existence of Polish market looked like. As you can see, in terms of number of transactions, we have reached almost 3 billion of transactions, out of which 1.2 billion was realized in 2022. It was really the best year. It was almost as much as in the previous 7 years. So this is very important. This is the total outlook of all the channels. Then if we look at the transaction value, transaction value, almost 80 billion of euro of transactions value in 8 years. And again, 2022 was the best year of BLIK existence. This was really a really good year, 34.4 billion euro of transaction value. And what is very important, and Dariusz was mentioning that, actually the growth and the numbers are driven mostly by e-commerce. It is like 60% share of all our transactions. This is e-commerce channel, growing very dynamically. Over 8 years, it was 1.8 billion transactions in e-commerce, and on over 700,000 in 2022. This is very important, and in terms of our shares in e-commerce, that differs a little bit in value and in number of transactions, but it is around 60% as well. So we have a very big share in e-commerce, and we believe that actually e-commerce is our future here. We see a huge potential to gain that segment of the market. This is a slide which is very liked inside of our organization because it shows the big success on the Polish market in terms of comparison to other payment methods. And from the origination of BLIK in 2016, you can see how we were gaining market share compared to cards and pay by links, which is the second most popular payment method in e-commerce. And as you can see, already in 2019 we have overpassed cards, and now we are almost triple in terms of number of transactions. So that is really strong position. And obviously we can't see the cash here, but BLIK was growing as well, thanks to overpassing and overtaking the customers of cash. What is important for us as well is the strength of BLIK brand. As you can see here, we have three measures. One is prompted awareness, which means that we show to the customers the list of brands, and they mention the brands that they know. So almost everybody in Poland, 96% know BLIK, which is very important. And almost 80% of them mention BLIK spontaneously. And 60% mentioned BLIK on the first position, so that's really big awareness, especially if you look at card players, which are on the market for over 20 years. We have really overpassed them in terms of awareness, but as well we are much stronger than strong international players like Apple, Google, GPay. So that is very big reason for us to be proud. And what is important, obviously, is the usage, because this is how the customers vote, how the customers are showing the loyalty to the brand. So based on our own research that we run with Kantar Poland, we are actually being used almost by 50% of Polish customers. This is what they declare. Obviously, this means the users of mobile banking applications. And we are as well much higher in terms of usage declarations than all the big players that are existing on the market. The numbers in terms of used at least once is a little bit lower, but as you can imagine, the players are much longer on the market. So that's why the usage of card, for example, at least once in last years, it's quite high. And I believe this is a time for Ryszard and Romanian plan. Thank you.
Let's a little bit go deeper. Why Romania? You see how it was more or less developed in Poland. What are the important factors for the Polish customers, and why we believe it will run in Romania? I think this is the main question for today. I will deep dive in all these points for the next slides. I have 6 slides about Romania, and let's go now one by one. We will bring simple, fast, and secure. That's what you saw. I will explain you more a little bit what it means for Romanian fast, secure. And according to our survey, because we did a survey on the market, we invited 600 Romanian, fairly the population which presents the way how you do e-commerce, how you pay e-commerce. It means there is still 30% of the e-commerce buyers which pays cash or card on delivery side. Then we also see that the adoption of BLIK will, I would say, add a value to hold the payments ecosystem currently in Romania. We'll deep dive on it. And of course, the fintech life functionality. This is where the banks are a little bit lagging on the market. They are looking to embed it, the fintech life functionality, in their proposal, the value proposition to the customers, and that's why we are there. And what Dariusz said, we are not going independently, is always part of the banking proposal, banking service. Of course, we also believe that we can stimulate e-commerce growth. This is how you show the Polish example of the growth of the e-commerce transaction. The card business had their own growth. The other payment methods had their own growth. Cash declined at all. People really moved to the non-cash transaction in Poland. And this is why we also believe we will stimulate those people which are afraid to buy, which are afraid to go to the e-commerce business. Then they will be equipped with an easy method of paying. This is what you show on the Polish example. One of the outcomes of that is that the growth of the e-commerce, of course there are other factors, but we will also help to stimulate that growth for the people which are afraid currently to use cards on the e-commerce side. And of course, one important factor for banks, this is where the banks are looking now for how to equip and how to convince the customer on the mobile side to activate them financially. Not to activate the mobile app, to look for the balance or to get information from the bank, to look what are a transaction there, but how to financially activate a transaction flow, financial transaction flow. I think this is one of the questions which the bankers has now, and we would like to help them, and we see the possibility to help. Let's start from the cash side. We did a research. Those data are really coming out of research which we did. We, based on the volume, transactions, if 100% implemented, we believe that we can convert 21 million from cash to non-cash transaction or on-delivery payment, which will really help the e-commerce business, which will really help all the value chain. And it counts that 16% of transaction can go immediately to the non-cash side. This is about the research. We asked the one how you paying, and those group of two customers which paying cash on delivery side, we presented the payment method. They had the opportunity to try the payment method, and most of the 40% said, I would definitely use it. I'm waiting for this proposition from my bank. And I think this is a strong customer voice which we have to take into consideration. But the second part, the card business part, you see this also 45% say, but there was only 13% which said, I would definitely use it. The others said, yes, I would try, because I'm doing the e-commerce transaction, and I would try. I'm medium interested because I'm satisfied from cards, and I will try. But this way, I said, when we compose this strong interest, the conversion from cash, which is the goal for us, and then the high interest of cards, but it's not much. This is coming to this 21 million, which we can do immediately, of course, with 100% presence on the mobile apps of the bank. This is a possibility. This is how the Romanian ecosystem, we believe, I would say in 5 years perspective or 6 years perspective, a little bit, saying that it's not the next year or plan of our side. This is how we believe we will be there. We will stimulate the growth, and everyone will have a place on. And also we believe that the card schemas will have their own growth, and we will take over those which are not buying now, those which convert, which do cash, and those ones which will be finally convinced to use it due to the easiness, the way. And of course, very important is local decision making. We will be a team locality. The all pricing, all, I would say, conditions for a system will be locally driven. And I think there will be also a quick adoption or products implementations, which is easy for also from the issuers and acquirers side to be implemented. And I think the last point is the intention about the price competitiveness due to the local full presence and due to the local setup of pricing. We believe that we will be also for the our participants, the issuers and acquirers, price competitive towards the card schema. But this is not the main driver. I'm telling you, when you will ask the Polish bankers what's driving them to promote it to their customers, is not cost of the system. It's not cost side, it's price competitiveness. I will explain it a little bit later on. The fintech-like functionality. Look for the different examples of the mobile apps. Every bank is implementing in their own way, their own setup, their own branding, their own colors, their own way to how to communicate to their customers through their banking app. There's only light guidelines about the presentation of the 6-digit code, small logo, BLIK logo. They have even choose a full logo or the logo type, and the time validity of the code. This is which currently bounded all of those applications. But the rest is the decision of the bank. This is, I would say, a good example to show you, even when you see a timing. Someone is rounded timing, someone is only clockwise timing. This is a decision of the bank. Of course, in Poland we have 100%. This is what we would love to have it in Romania, but I will tell you a little bit later on the ambitious side. But look, on this fast, simple, convenient, secure, you will see below the value proposition. The value proposition, due to the speed, fast for merchants and payment service providers, is a conversion rate. Imagine you are a merchant, which currently, for those which pay cards, is getting 82% conversion rate. What it means conversion rate here? A little bit say it here. Conversion rate means when someone reaches the full basket, goes to the payments, and 18% purchases falling down are not continued due to 3D secure problem or whatever other problems. People cannot handle the card payment due to a lot of numbers to be inputted, due to the steps which are taken. And when they see the method, which brings 92%, means 10% more sales for them. Imagine 10% more sales. They will promote that method by themselves because of that factor only. Not cost. Look, cost is a minor thing, even if they would be more competitive to cars, but not much competitive. But the speed, fast, and easiness for the conversion rate will convince by themselves. The simple. I think this is one of the factors which now is growing from the value. Data protection. You saw the flow. Is there any customer data somewhere? Is there any CNP number or even name, address of the customer? None. Due to the synchronous, all data of customers stays in the bank, are secured in the bank and not transferred in any step of the payment execution, and even any step of the registration of the customer to the payment method, because we are registering the mobile app. We don't know who stays behind the mobile app. Convenient. You saw the transaction flow fully on mobile. Imagine the payment method which you can execute fully mobile, not leaving the mobile phone to any other device or to anything else. This is why it's very convenient. And I'm using it personally also when I have no wallet, no cards, no nothing. You can compare Apple Pay to it. Yes, you will say Apple Pay is more in line, but you cannot pay everywhere in Apple Pay. On the apps, on the e-commerce, on the shops, you cannot. This requires some implementations, and it's also not an easy implementation. And of course, it's security is part of the banking app. Security drives the bank. We are complying with security and authorization of the transaction. You saw the 6 for PIN code established with the customer. It can be face recognition. It can be the biometrics. It can be whatever media, other SMS, which is sent with the code. That's on the bank side. Authorization of transactions like other authorizations of transactions the bank is doing on the mobile app. We don't change, we don't influence this communication and this security part there. And this is why I'm saying that we can help banks to activate at least half of the population, based on the Polish figures which you saw. This 22 million, 19, 13. This is a very, very simple calculation from the number of apps which are installed. We can really, we believe, can help to activate financially the customer. Activation financially the customer, that the bank is responsible for money flow. For Apple Pay flow is behind the bank. The bank is getting only the authorization message from card, because it's a card payment. This is not responsible at all how to set it up, how to authorize this payment, because Apple is doing. Here, the bank gets full responsibility, and while executing a transaction. This is the value which the Polish bankers will say to you is potential for cross-sell. potential for cross-sell, and this is the value which the Polish banks gaining the most on the cross-sells to customers due to their financial activity on their mobile apps. And this is the value, not cost, not other side. Money which Polish banks doing or building or income which is generated is from cross-sell here. And of course, one of the last slides, what we do now. We are ready to apply for an authorization to National Bank of Romania. We will do it in March. We believe that we comply, we tested it, we have proof to the Romanian regulation. It's not much different than the Polish regulation because it's based on the same European norm. It's a PFMI directive issued by the European Central Bank, implemented in all state countries. In Romania was introduced into through the NBR regulation number 3 2018, and it's which is more or less same rules which are governing in Poland, and we comply to these rules that we are fairly, I would say, sure that we fulfill all the requirements. What is the plan? We start from e-commerce business. We start from a 6-digit code, which you saw. That will be the primary focus, but we will be present in all channels, means ATMs, the cardless payment on ATMs, and POS payment without the contactless at this moment, only based on the 6-digit code, which is, again, less convenience than NFC payment when you tap the card on and you go. Here is much more burden on the POS, we know it, but it's not our focus. Focus is e-commerce, the easy way of paying to the e-commerce business, to drive e-commerce business, and to drive interest of the customer to go to the e-commerce. We are also open for the partnership. The system will be designed for the Romanian lei, and for all the issuers which are having the account at the National Bank of Romania to do the settlement. We are open, and we also open for all acquirers which are officially registered or passported on the Romanian market based on the National Bank of Romania list. And of course, what I want to ensure is local responsibility, local presence, local decisions, and full knowledge transfer from the mother company, from our experience in Poland. That's why we started the presentation, how it looks in Poland, but this is where it goes fully. We have an access to all the experience and to all market practice from the Polish side.